What we're looking at here is a time-lapse of MCToon's Sundial in Antarctica. He managed to create his sundial using globe-based calculations, and the results were nothing short of spectacular. So I thought I'd add a few more lines to the GeoGebra script I've been using in my recent TFE related content. My aim is to acquire the shadow lengths and azimuths for all 24 hours of the sundial in the hope they will somewhat accurately match the values MCToon used for his prediction.
The sky is blue, the wind whispers near, a soft fleeting voice.
A quick recap then. This red point is our observer location at Union Glacier, and this orange one is the subsolar point, which is to say that the sun is about 150 million kilometers directly above that spot. I've set the sun declination for the day in question to negative 23.4 degrees, which is almost on top of the Tropic of Capricorn, and for ease of writing this script, I've kept it fixed for the whole day. In reality, it will vary slightly over the course of the 24 hours, but given that it's close to the solstice, the results won't be affected that much. Looking at the vectors, well, this white vector always points north, and the yellow vector points in the direction of the sun. When we get GeoGebra to measure the angle between these vectors, that angle will give the sun's heading. These two blue vectors point to the sun's position out in space, and to get the sun's altitude we simply measure the angle between this yellow and this dark blue vector. This altitude angle will be the greatest when the sun is due north of Union Glacier, and it will be at its lowest when it's due south of their campsite. At no time over the course of the 24 hours will the angle dip below 13 degrees or rise above 34 degrees for this location, this time of year. And you can see the wave-like motion we observed in the time lapses better in this animation. Now, as we already have the sun's altitude for any time in question, we can know the length of the shadow MCToon's tripod will cast. The tripod was 165 centimeters in height, and the formula is quite straightforward. The shadow length is given by the tripod height divided by the tangent of the sun's altitude. But what about the shadow azimuths? Well, that's quite straightforward too. All I have to do is to rotate the yellow sun heading vector by 180 degrees around the observer's vertical, and then get GeoGebra to measure the angle from north. Checking SunCalc for the sun's location at midnight Union Glacier time, I could see that the sun was pretty much directly overhead near Alice Springs in Australia, and the Greenwich hour angle for the sun was a smidge more than 226 degrees. Knowing this meant I could create 24 positions for the sun at 15-degree intervals. So now we can compare the values obtained through my basic geometry with the values given to MCToon by Bitcarver. For midnight we have 15.5, 34.42 and a shadow length of 612.2 centimeters. So those angles look spot on, but I'm 4mm off for the shadow length. And I'm sure it's not going to be this good of a match as I go around the clock. So let's just do that now. So I was pleasantly surprised how closely everything matched there, given my approach was extremely simplistic. I kind of expected the azimuth values to be as close as they were, but wasn't so hopeful for the shadow lengths if I'm being completely honest. And I thought they'd be out by a lot more than they were, especially when the sun was lower in the sky. So to be clear, all I did was to get GeoGebra to measure the angles from the surface of a rotating sphere to a distant point out in space. I didn't take anything else into account that might have affected the outcome, things like refraction, for example. Anyway, I don't know if you caught Brian's logic versus MCToon recently on the modern day debate. It was interesting listening. So I'm going to end my video with a few choice clips from that, and all I need to say now is, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you later.
Yeah, listen, I would have just answered whatever question he had to answer, but he decided to make some claims there that aren't correct. Right? He's claiming a scientific model, which his globe is not. He doesn't have a globe model. He's claiming science. He has not. There is no way for him to insert natural science into what he's claiming. And what he's showing there is on his page is not natural science. That would be measurements or whatever. So no. Now, if he wants to ask the question now, we'll go ahead. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
now let's
Well,
give
this isn't
MC
measurements.
Toon a full 1 minute. Go ahead, MC Toon.
Yeah, this isn't measurements. This is predictions based on the globe model. So I 100% employed, or Yanosh employed the globe model to produce this. So saying there isn't a globe model is a very bad look for you because that's how this was produced. And then it was tested and it was confirmed and it matched reality. So do go ahead and continue to make that assertion. If you want, Brian, it's a ridiculous look.
Okay,
It'll only win points in
I'll
your
address
echo
that then,
chamber,
will I?
but outside your echo chamber, people will just laugh
So
at you.
I'm here now, and you're not allowing me to address that. So you just showed something there, and you said it was a globe model and predictions off a globe model. No, there is no globe model. What that is a prediction of what will be seen as the sun circles over a flat plane. Because what you're showing here is flat plane measurements, and it is a measurement of 360 degrees over time.
All right, well,
So
provide.
It's not scientific. It's not part of a scientific
you
model.
made a claim.
don't have
You
one
made
of
a
them.
claim, Brian. I will anxiously await for you to show how this prediction was made based on
not a prediction.
flat plane.
It's
Yes,
not
it
a
is.
prediction.
This is 100% a prediction.
It's not a
All this was
prediction.
done ahead of time. The
It's
sun
not a
will, the
prediction.
shadow will be at this
Has
angle,
it been seen
and
before?
the shadow will be this length.
Has
That's
it
a
been
prediction.
seen before?
No, it's never been seen before.
What, the 24-hour Antarctic sun?
This particular
So the 24-hour Antarctic
particular
sun has never been seen
observation here
before.
that we
Yeah,
predicted.
that's not a scientific prediction.
Brian,
That's
this
not a
was never
scientific
seen
prediction.
before, Brian. Nobody
It's a
ever stood
measurement.
in that
It's
spot.
not a scientific prediction.
Nobody ever stood in that spot before and measured the
Ever. How do you
length
know?
of the shadow.
How do you know that? Validate that.
Do you think
Don't
that
laugh
somebody
at
did
me.
this and we just
validate.
stole
I
it
don't
from
need you
them?
laughing at me. I
You
need you to
idiot.
validate what you
This
said.
was never
You just
done
said
before.
nobody has ever done
Gentlemen,
that before.
gentlemen.
Nobody's ever
Okay, I
done
gotta
this
jump
before,
in.
Brian.
All right, we're going to go back to the 1 minute intervals.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, what he's holding up there, he's calling a prediction. He said no one else ever did this before. He has no validation for any of that. It's not a scientific prediction, which was his original claim. So if someone might have predicted the shadows would be this length if the sun is here or the sun is here. Grand, I'm okay with that, but it's not a scientific prediction. Okay, off he goes. Thank you.
Got it. Thank
So
you,
don't
Brian, for
interrupt.
completely failing to supply the evidence of your point that you said it was based on flat Earth. I know how Yanosh did this. I wrote my own program to do this as well, got the same numbers. He has a program that he used to output that same numbers. So I know how it was done. It was based on the sphere. It was not based on a flat plane. You asserted that was based on a flat plane. So please produce your evidence that it was based on a flat plane.
So you weren't using the surface of Earth or mathematically the equatorial plane of the globe. Did you hear my question?
That's not a question. That was an assertion. I'm waiting for you to
So I'm
supply-
asking you. So
No,
you're saying.
I'm
so you're
waiting
saying,
for you
so
to
you're saying you seem
to
to
support your
throw your
claim.
hand wave it away.
Hold on
Brian,
a second.
So you're
I do
support
want to
your
just,
claim.
I want to be clear that if you guys ask each other questions, you're basically ceding the rest of your time, because each time we try to do open dialogue, it just immediately spirals off of the track.
Yeah, I'm asking him to supply the evidence for his claim that that I know how was produced from a flat plane, and it's over to him to support his claim.
So, Toon, are you claiming that you didn't use the flat surface of Earth or calculate it on the equatorial plane of a globe.
Okay, to be fair, it sounds like are you
He can't answer the
answering
question.
MCToon's, are you responding to what MCToon just said or asking,
I
or
am. It's
raising
a
a new
direct
question?
response. It was my response earlier. I just need to get clarification because he's asked me, James. He's asked me to support that my claim that what he showed happened over a flat plane. Now I've asked him, right? Did he do it on the surface of Earth and or use from a calculatory standpoint at the equatorial plane of a globe? Because he's claiming he didn't use a flat plane and a flat plane wasn't used. And I'm looking for an answer to that.
I don't have the burden of proof, Brian. You made the claim, not me.
And I'm asking you, you said it's not done on a flat plane, right? That means you're claiming you didn't use elevation angles. Are you claiming you didn't use elevation angles?
My God, Brian, could you answer your damn
Are you claiming
question?
you didn't use elevation angles? It's that simple, Tim.
Come on, Brian.
Are you claiming you didn't
support
use
your claim, buddy? Can't support it? Run off. Scamper away.
What's the elevation of the sun measured?
Scamper away, buddy.
Yes, so the elevation of the sun was measured. That means you use the horizontal plane. Do you want me to?
You
want me to get a photograph of an elevation?
I want you to produce the map.
Do you want me to
that
get?
outputs this?
Do you want me? This
As
is
you
originally what you
claimed you
claimed
can.
to be.
I hate to do this. Okay. I'm just going to bring us to a new topic because it seems like this is